Book discussion, Ann Napolitano, Hello, Beautiful. It's a novel about a family in Chicago, four sisters that grow up together. It's a coming of age novel, so it starts with their childhood and then goes all the way till they sort of turn middle aged, almost old, and just goes through their lives. It's a novel about love. It's a novel about relationships. It's a novel about life, careers. I would say it's a modern version of almost like a Russian 19th century novel. It actually, they mention Anna Karenina, for example. So it has that feel a little bit, just a modern version. I think Anna is obviously on that front an amazing writer. It's the first novel I read by Anne, famous. So I'm not surprised that she is as famous as she is because I think she captures things like relationships and love pretty well. I think where she fails, in my opinion, is just sort of the nitty gritty details of modern life. The housewife from Chicago just decides to move to New York and then becomes a corporate titan there. You know, such and such just decides to become an artist, and it's just you know so easy to be an artist and succeed. I mean, she's a little bit nonchalant when it comes to these things, and maybe I'm a little sensitive about that. For example, going to New York and trying to make it there is just not a matter of a phone call and then, I want to do it and I do it kind of thing. But nevertheless, I think other than that, I think An does really well in terms of capturing the emotions of the characters, and it carries you through. It's a pretty long novel. It carries you through. It's entertaining and it's deep at its core. Um, I have four takeaways. One is love is not what you think it is. Second, there is a certain sort of virtual reality about love that I'm going to discuss a little bit more. Third, I want to talk about the sort of novelistic techniques, that some of them good, some of them bad. And I think fourth, I want to talk a little bit about just things like career and how that works. And in particular, sort of something I was thinking about recently, that career and love are very tightly related. I don't know if Anne was doing this on purpose, but it's something that happens to you. There's very little you can do about that. And I think I'm going to elaborate on that too. This is not even on podcast. It's February 21st, 2024. This is Cream Telco. For the day, we are down 4%. The market is down 70 basis points. For the year, we are down 15.8%. The market's up 4.2. We're underperforming by 20%. Ann Napolitano, Hello, Beautiful, a novel about four sisters that grow up in Chicago, and it's a coming of age novel. It's their lives, it's their relationships, it's their fears and wants and wishes and dreams, and on that sense, I think Anne did a very good job in capturing that. As a reader, you can really feel with the characters, you can embrace them, you can live with them. And I want to start with the first point here. Love is not what you think it is. I think love has a sort of almost altruistic, emphatic meaning for most of us, when in fact it's not. Love is a very selfish, very on a sort of what I need right now kind of basis, and that comes across in the novel. Although everybody loves each other and everybody's full of love, everybody in the end does what they need to do. Whether it's the mother that abandons their daughter because she does something that she's not agreeing with, whether it's the mother that takes her daughter away from her father and deliberately lies to her, whether it's the father who doesn't want his daughter because he has other business to do, whether it's the sister that falls in love with the wrong person. The novel is full of people who love and love and love, but in the end are very, very selfish and egotistic about what they need to get done. And this leads me to the second point, which is, I think this novel is a very good description of what love really means. Love is some sort of virtual reality on a as needed basis type thing, where we discuss it as something that is good for us, and it's good for us, but it lives in imaginary space. The reality of love is very harsh and very sort of Darwinistic. It's, survival of the fittest. What do I need to survive? The virtual story of love is more, yeah, we love each other. We're, in this case, let's say family, which is a whole other situation, of course. Family, I think with family, love is being misconstrued even more, because we have this perception that we love each other as a family, when in reality we don't. It's nothing to do with family. I think love is just something we don't really exercise in any kind of altruistic or emphatic way. We do love for our own purposes, for our own sakes, for our own benefits. And I think this comes across incredibly well in this novel. I don't know if Ann Napolitano intentionally did this. This is different from sort of Dostoevsky or Tolstoy approach towards love, where Anna Karenina eventually kills herself because she can't find the kind of love that she's looking for. These people, they are hardcore, cutthroat. They know what they need, and they go and get it. And if I may add my own perspective here, I am absolutely for a pragmatic approach towards love. Love is an important feeling. Love, in my opinion, goes into the category of fear and dream and hope and those types of feelings. They're all important. They give us guidance. They help us surpass the daily lives that we have. And love is one of those things, like in general in life, if you think about it, it's it's really, and this is going to lead me now to actually the fourth point I wanted to make about career and about lives. So let me combine those two. I think love is important because when it comes to career and lives in general, I think we make very few decisions throughout, let's say, the 85 or 100 years that we have, and let's say skip about 30 of those old and young age when we don't have a lot of agency. So let's give it 60 years of agency. Those are the years that matter. And in those years, we make few decisions. Who you marry, what course you took in college, maybe at your job, which job you took, or not even which job, but maybe you helped a certain person at your job, and that person turned out to become your mentor, and that was really important for your career. Like, we make very few decisions that really matter. And I think love helps us guide towards those decisions. Love is like a catalyst to find those decisions. It might not necessarily be the kind of feeling that we associate maybe with love, like again, like the sort of Tolstoy-esque a love at all costs to suicide type thing. It's more, this is what I need to do. And I think in this book, it's really nice to see how characters like William find their way despite themselves, despite their shortcomings and their problems and all of that kind of stuff that accompanies them. They still find their way. And all the other characters have the same type of approach towards their lives. It's very pragmatic, it's open ended, but it's guided by love, and love in a, like I said in the beginning, in not the sort of emphatic, altruistic way that maybe some people might misassociate love with. It's the exact opposite. It's a guidepost. It's a sign towards where do I need to go, because careers, lives take their own path. And we don't even know exactly what we want, but we have to keep doing, we have to keep trying, and then let those feelings like love and hope and fear and and aggression and cutthroatness and all of these things, they all matter. They're all important. Back to the novel, I think it's maybe a few words about the sort of novelistic techniques. I think Ann Napolitano is very skilled in building relationships. I think she's good at it. She's, I would say, she doesn't do love as good as Taylor Jennings Reid, but she is up there. Where she fails, in my opinion, is completely sort of the real life aspects, like, you know, Julia just picks up the phone and ends up working at a fancy New York consulting firm. She picks up another phone and ends up getting a nice Upper East Side apartment. Uh, you know, the other one, this one picks up the phone and ends up working for the Chicago Bulls. I think it's a little bit easy how people sort of get through their lives, but I think that's not terribly important maybe for the story, or maybe it is. I mean, that remains to be seen, because if these characters had mundane jobs, mundane lives, then maybe their importance wouldn't be as amplified, and then their all this love stuff would not have that kind of like importance. I mean, I think Ann Napolitano almost puts them on a pedestal as really successful people, and then you take their relationships also more seriously. I think that's kind of that's the one thing that sort of shrugs me off a little bit the negative way. But like she amplifies the importance of the personalities in order to amplify the importance of love. So that would be my maybe a little bit of a critique here. Again, I think it's a readable novel. It's a nice novel. It's But I think where Anne fails, in my opinion, is she puts the characters on a pedestal. She gives them importance through their success in life, and therefore you take their relationships and their emotional state also very seriously. And I think that's a trick that she's using. I kind of saw through it, so it leaves me with a bitter note. Like, the mother that scraps pennies lives in a poor household in Chicago, ends up in a fancy Florida old people home where her friends are condo owners from New York. That's not how life works. So that's, I think, where Anne sort of fails me as a reader, but that's okay. I think she does enough good work that, again, I would recommend the novel. So I think, to summarize, uh, you know Hello Beautiful, it's a story about love, and it shows love in the way it really is. It puts a mirror onto what love is. Love is a very egotistic, very important feeling, emotion that helps us navigate through life. This is what love really is. It's a virtual trick in our minds to help us navigate through life, because we navigate through life a little bit like a leaf in the wind. We have agency, of course, and that agency is applied, and we're a bit like maybe an optimization problem, where most of the time we deal with sparsity. We have very sparse rewards in life. But sometimes it really matters whether we take the left or the right turn. And those types of moments are usually guided by love, by emotions, by things like love, not by irrational thinking. And there's a character in this book, Julia. She's the super rational person, and she definitely rubs me off the wrong way. I think that's not how you want to live your life. Whether it's financially successful or not, that's almost irrelevant. What really matters here is the emotional state and the ethical state and the moral state that the person is in, and this person certainly falls through the cracks on that front. I think, lastly, the novelistic techniques here to put people in successful endeavors, so to amplify their emotional and relationship, their emotional state and relationships, is a nice novelistic trick. It fails me a little bit because I see through it, and it kind of loses a bit of the beauty, maybe let's call it the beauty. But nevertheless, I think it's a readable novel. It's a nice novel, and highly recommended. Thank you.